nobody has a good Yelp score, because Yelp is, I mean, we all know the Yelp stuff. I've seen very few moving companies that have a solid Yelp score, and usually they're very small companies I've never heard of. And that's one of those things that if we could get somebody on the podcast to talk about how to actually figure out, how to figure out Yelp, that would be amazing, because they filter good reviews, they leave up bad reviews, they leave up fake reviews that are bad, but they'll filter good legitimate reviews. It's crazy. But
And
I don't
they
want to.
use that for Apple too. Like Apple, it's because Apple wants Yelp's data. I know this because Google has Google Maps. So like Apple Maps has to have different data. They don't want to
Right.
buy any strong arm by Google. So that's just what they use. And because there's a shitload of data in there, but it sucks. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh,
it
it's so
does.
god awful.
And I mean, it's so funny because Yelp is really only real, in my opinion, relevant for restaurants. And even that, I don't even really look at it for. But I know some markets it's big. I know California's, San Francisco, those areas are pretty big with Yelp. Austin, Texas is another one. But most people, I think, are not really getting onto Yelp. I think Google is dominating. And I don't know if you recently heard, but Google Maps just released an update to where it is going to be 5 years ahead of Apple Maps. And I use Apple Maps. That's kind of my default with an iPhone,
Dude.
but I've started using Google Maps more and more, and it's integrating a lot more three-dimensional dynamic, things that are going to make it really really powerful. And I think Google is by far still king, but I have noticed with Apple Maps, certain restaurants, certain places, they're using like Foursquare or TripAdvisor, maybe booking.com. They've started to integrate a few alternative review platforms for their service. From what I can tell, last I looked at it, they are still using Yelp for most home services. But it's funny because a lot of restaurants and stuff where you would think Yelp should be the main market, aren't even on Yelp for Apple Maps. And it's weird how they're figuring all that algorithm out. But I hope they branch off from Yelp, because that's really kind of the only thing I feel like Yelp is hanging on to. And it has a little SEO relevance, I guess. It shows up in certain search terms, to look for local area movers. It's that's a struggle to maintain that garden. You're trying to grow a Christmas tree in the Caribbean with trying
Yeah.
to keep up with your Yelp garden when it comes to gardening and watering your review platform. So
I
it's
love that
it's
analogy.
tough. um,